Okay, so Good morning, everybody. This is Logan here with Next Level Z. This is
Hey, I'm Patrick. We're also brothers, in
Patrick.
case you've already realized.
You probably realized that because we look like the same person. He just is a bit babyish looking.
I'm a little bit babyish. So we've got a great show packed for you guys today. We just wanted to talk to you basically about what we have planned and where the con is currently looking. It looks like the lines are packed up right now to get the signups finished, and we'll have round one commentation going on probably in the next 30 minutes. But we are waiting right now for word from Ake, so as soon as we get that, they'll bring that right over and we will get started.
Alrighty. Joining us later today on the stream, of course, if you look down at the bottom, we have got JPFTW, which is our older brother John. So there's another one of us. And then Chorted, both members as well of the Next Level Z team. I am one of the staff members there. Patrick's on our player team because this dude's real good at the game. He plays well. We are joining you and going live to provide coverage of the Road to Worlds, which begins last week at Oregon and continues at Nationals, where the top, I think it's top 8 participants are going to be getting through to the World Tournament. So that's pretty exciting stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what that means essentially is they're going to get a playset of villainous hero spheres immediately. So
it's like
that by itself is probably a clear 2,000. So one of the things that we're really excited about today is that we're going to be able to see a meta develop. I feel like, with the, what happened last week in Oregon, some people aren't totally confident on those results, and then today we're going to see the entire United States come together and play some really good DBZ, and we're going to see what the current decks are like that are at the top, which is something that most players are actually sitting here wondering still. Yeah. What should I play? We can potentially do a few deck techs later, and just so you guys know, I think it is the top four
get to Worlds.
that get to Worlds.
Sorry, 5 through 8, didn't mean to build your hopes up. Yeah, if you're watching this, though, you're probably in an awkward spot for the tournament.
You'll still get some money. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, there's still some money floating around there. Speaking of decks to expect, I think one that's on everyone's radar is some variant of Ginyu. Leading into set 3, of course, there were the big 3: Ginyu, Piccolo, and Comic-Con Krillin. And I think that we're going to see those 3 pop up because they're still very powerful decks. What do you think is going to be, of those 3, the best performing one?
So in our testing, we weren't able to make it out to GenCon today just because, I'd rather be sitting here streaming with you guys.
We want to provide the coverage.
And the coverage is really important to build a community. So if I were there right now, I would be playing probably Orange Ginyu. It is the deck that I have tested most consistently. It is very strong. With the current meta, a lot of people have this pass-go mentality, and Orange Ginyu is usually really aggressive. I would compare it to something like Red Deck Wins in Magic, because you are literally stuck with mediocre hands most of the time when you build these decks that are heavy on setups and everything. So calling into them will usually give you some sort of advantage. I would say the deck has at least a 60% win rate on all the decks we've currently tested. And then, of course, we can't forget about the blue dominance decks. Piccolo and Frieza. Those decks are extremely powerful, and they will really, they can pretty much run 50-50 against the entire field, only because if you give them time to get set up, it's almost impossible for you to overcome it.
And that blue mastery is so powerful. The fact that you're able to then give yourself options with your cards. Blue Ginyu is actually my favorite variant of Ginyu overall.
It's really tanky. I mean, really it is. It comes to the mind of, where Blue Ginyu's real strength is the fact that, most Ginyu decks lose steam as they go on. Blue Ginyu gets stronger. So
it just gets
in a meta where you are seeing more decks putting more setups, more drills, more allies to try and give them that security for late game, Blue Ginyu comes out on top of all of those, in my opinion, short of level 2 Piccolo.
Yeah. I think, speaking of the blue dominance decks, the one that everybody is well aware of that makes excellent use of blue dominance is the Frieza deck, the San Diego Comic-Con Frieza from this most recent San Diego Comic-Con a couple weeks ago. That level 2 is very relevant. It allows you to do a lot of very significant things. Being able to take advantage of that critical effect, it almost makes playing Captive Strike worth it.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things that I really find right now is a deck that is going to be extremely consistent is Black Krillin. I know that a lot of people have tested it. And a lot of people feel like it's strong, and it has always been strong, solely because you can essentially make a game for yourself where you're not even worried about dealing with blocking or attacking. You are solely designing your deck around removing their life cards without them having any say in it. Destructo Disc, that what is it? Black Foreshadowing. That card is absolutely powerful in every way, and one of those things that you really can see with that deck is that it can set up its hand and keep throwing them back and forth.
Yeah, the ability to just take advantage of the cards in your hand. I think that's one of the things that we find, particularly make the blue and the black style really effective. They're great at giving you advantage and improving your card quality. So that the worst card in your hand in the blue deck is a block typically, or the worst card in your hand in a black deck is a discard spell, and those are very relevant factors in the game. Some of the sleeper decks, the things that that I think are going to pop up today, especially given its performance in the last regional, is the red TN deck. Deck makes just Tenshin Han's preparation. Make sure you say it right. Is a very, 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 very good card.
So I'll be honest with you. I haven't actually seen a red TN deck that really blew me away. And I know the power level's there. I just have been testing solely Ginyu, and that's a deck that goes head-to-head with those red decks really well because they're block light, honestly.
Yeah, they're block light and endurance.
So, I mean, all you need is one I'll Dig Your Grave and an overpowering attack in Jace, and you're usually putting them at a place where they're trying to fight back to win. And we're being told right now that we're looking at about an hour delay on the tournament starting. So we'll probably be starting around 11 a.m. Because, there's just so many people there. They're trying to get it organized. And I have no issues with them doing what they can to really, get everything set up and properly.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a huge tournament. We're very much looking forward to seeing what happens today. And we're excited to bring you guys coverage here from Next Level Z. Mm-hmm. It's a shame we couldn't be at GenCon, but I'm excited to be doing this in any capacity.
Yeah, we've gone through great lengths to make sure that we can bring this stream to you guys. And we're going to do everything we can to really, push the quality of the stream and build the game as we kind of develop the day and talk out different points.
Yeah. With that being said, if you guys want to get involved in the conversation, join us in Twitch chat. See, we got a couple of you guys in there right now.
You can also go ahead and shoot us out a tweet if you'd like as well.
Tweet at us with hashtag GenCon. That'll get you brought on there. But also hashtag NLZ and hashtag Road to Worlds. Those are going to be the two that we're using primarily. If you tweet hashtag Panini as well, that'll get it on there. But we're keeping track of those to make sure that we're able to get as much conversation as we can. Shoot us your thoughts on the meta. What you think we should expect. If there's a card that you think is going to have a big impact that's kind of been a sleeper, let us know.
If you guys want to go ahead and tweet us your top 3 decks, what do you think is going to win right now? That's a question that a lot of people have been asking moving up to GenCon, as it is the first large event, and there haven't really been a lot of large-scale events to build decks from. So net decking per se has not really been an option for a lot of people. A lot of people have been able to, define a deck in their current meta, win their locals, and really build from there. But there's not really a clear indication of what is the most powerful deck in the game right now.
It's going to be a good melting pot.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I mean, I have an idea of what I'll see in the top 8. I'm pretty confident that is going to be the place. But I still feel like there is a hidden sleeper deck. I mean, you can look back to Retro Z, Worlds 2012, or 2002, excuse me. You had a bunch of, I think 7 decks that were red anger decks, and 1 Dragon Ball deck won it. So, I mean, you need to really, stop and think about what's been tested in your local meta that you felt was good enough to take to Gen Con, and really, see those local players that went there and maybe they do have the hidden sleeper deck. Maybe that's the one that's going to win.
Yeah, we've got a huge couple weeks coming up tournament wise, and Gen Con, the impact that this tournament's going to have, because this is, as far as I know, it may not be the largest, but it's certainly one of the top 3 largest tournaments that have happened for this game. We've got, 188 people in there?
I believe the last large tournament of this scale was Extended Worlds in 2003, and I think there were around 350 people there.
Yeah.
But an average regional from Retro was around 100 to 120 people. So this is going to be a crazy, number one, accomplishment for Panini that they brought this game back and have done it in a way that is actually balanced and fair. I know they have some controversial rulings here and there, but they are working on it, they're building on it, and it is definitely something that's really beneficial, and we love it. And then you've also got, the tournament structure as it was back then versus the tournament structure now. Rewarding people for hitting first place. They've now replaced that with alternate art promos and
farewell drill.
Farewell drill was a good indication. I remember when I got mine, and it was absolutely broken.
Bonkers.
I mean, I put it in Saiyan Broly back in the day because why not? So I don't know. And for those of you who don't know what farewell drill was, it was a drill that you could search out of your deck before the game started. It would increase your PUR times 3 or plus 3, and it would also let you discard one less card at the end of your step. So you essentially got a black smoothness drill that you tutored out on the first turn. So any sort of beatdown deck, running Cell Style Mastery with Saiyan back in the day, you could enter combat with 6 to 7 cards, depending. It was absolutely crazy.
It's good times. Oh man, so it's gonna be a great day of DBZ. I'm excited to see what happens after GenCon. Of course, we do have a regional next week in Charlottesville, Virginia, at the End Game Center. They're going to be hosting that, and then I think 2 weeks later we have the regional. Is it Kentucky or Kansas? 2 weeks later.
I can pull up the whole schedule for you real quick.
Yeah, I'm trying to recall there. It's going to be there's just regional after big events just constantly happening. There is a 1 week lull, it looks like, after that. It looks like after Charlottesville, we've got Avondale, Arizona, actually, the week after in August 15th at Player Draw. It looks like after that, there's the Kansas Regional in Lenexa. Next Level Z will be at that regional. From what I understand, I think we're going to be providing some streaming coverage there. So if you like what you see today, let us know. If you have any suggestions or anything, though, hit our website, nextlevelz.com. There's a suggestion box. Let us know. We want to do what we can to provide the best coverage possible.
And we are well over 200 people entered to the tournament at this point, so it continues to grow. I know they had the 225 cap. I wonder if Ake's going to go ahead and say, let's not do that. These people came to play.
I mean, yeah, I think that the only concern I think that they ran into was space, but if they resolve that issue, it's going to be awesome. We're going to have a great day of DBZ, so I'm pretty excited about that.
Yeah, it should be wonderful. I mean, really, one of the things that's really crazy to me is that, I personally have always loved playing Saiyan, and from the Oregon regional results, we had the best Saiyan showed up was a Trunk Saiyan, which I think is probably the smartest Saiyan deck out there because one of the things that Saiyan really struggles with is a black deck, really, because they really pick you apart without having to deal with you in combat. So one of the things that Trunks is able to do late game is, call, enter, give them a handful of setups and no blocks, and then just, win the game from it. So I am interested to see if we're going to see a better performing Saiyan deck here today. And it could be, the powerhouse suicide Turles Saiyan deck that is all about just killing them as quickly as possible.
Throw your hand.
But I feel like Turles has, that power is fantastic, but the lack of a power that does a physical until his top is just, it's kind of detrimental to him being able to close out games consistently.
It's really because the way that I've always viewed a hero power, or main personality power that is like an attack is basically a free card. Like that is a card that you just get gratis every turn. Pardon me. And then when you go in on Turles, basically you don't get that card unless you're able to get an extra card's worth of damage out of your attack. So you have to have a very aggressive block light hand on level 1 Turles to get that same value out of it. Which I think is a balancing factor because, I mean, preventing your opponent from preventing your damage from your style attacks is kind of a big deal.
Yeah, Logan's been playing a lot of Hearthstone recently. That's why he said hero power.
Yeah, hero power. Cat Druid is for fight.
So, I mean, yeah, I would agree with it. That one of the distinct advantages of Saiyan is that, they have a lot of power. There's a ton of cards that really interact with their opponent, but they do not have the card advantage. Yeah, that is correct. I mean, there's a lot of cards that replace themselves in there and give you other effects. But, I mean, if you're playing the event heavy and then one sphere can blow you up, and sometimes Saiyan needs that one combat just to come out on top.
Yep. I mean, the Saiyan does have a lot of events that affect combat that do cycle. So, I mean, everybody loves a cantrip. I just feel like one way for them to get an extra card, a God Goku-esque effect, that doesn't restrict you to playing Goku, is fine. Because his PUR being 2, especially in this physical heavy format, He doesn't take a lot of base early on, but it's very easy to whittle him down. I think that's actually one of the things that helps the Ginyu deck do really well, the fact that it gets those allies to spread the stages that it's taking, especially in this format right now.
Yeah, I think it's just the fact that Saiyan, the good versions of God Saiyan are very, very suicide. They play, under 10 blocks, sometimes no blocks. So Ginyu, he can lose to the Saiyan decks only because if they come out quickly, they're hitting really hard, and he doesn't get the time to get his power up and get his allies out. But
one thing I noticed when we were watching the Oregon Regional last week was there was a lot of passing on combat to wait and craft a good hand before entering.
See, I think that's a practice of new players and old players alike because we're all used to this retro power level hand where you can, craft. I mean, Extended was insane. Looking at the top 6 cards, you're building a hand, you're calling combat often. This one, you're looking at the top 3, it's kind of original DBZ again. So the idea is, well, this hand, I lucked into 3 cards that I think will be better than his 3 cards, so let's go. But yeah, I mean, there are a lot of passive players in this new game, and I think you are not rewarded against a lot of decks for playing passive.
Well, I think that it is the majority of players right now, and it seems like the format sort of pushes people toward that. So I think that if somebody decides to play a really aggressive deck like a God Saiyan, and they go in just all in on a suicide thing, where their first combat they can rip. If they are on the play, they can rip 3, enter, use his power, and have 4 attacks, maybe even 5 attacks depending on which card they get. That could really pay off because as long as people are passing and waiting to craft these good hands because their decks are heavier on setups. There could be a lot of value in a strategy like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've often said it that Saiyan God Goku has a 50% matchup against the whole field because it really is who wins the dice roll. Because if he goes first and he calls on you with 3 good attacks, you're going to be in a position where you're recovering the game. So I feel like, there's just really no benefit in playing him because he's so inconsistent. I mean, 50% against the whole field is not a deck that you can take to a tournament and expect to win. You want a 60, 70% against the whole field.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to lose games. It's going to happen. And if you're playing a deck that wins and loses half the time, then you're probably going to lose just about as many as you win, which won't end you up in the top cut.
Yeah, I don't know that there's any deck in the game right now that has that high of a win rate. I think that like a very high... If you get positive variance all day with an Orange Ginyu deck, where you're just able to rip uppercut overpowering attack in your first 3, you could probably, if you did that every game or something along those lines, you'll definitely walk away from the tournament with an XO.
I would say if you draw that hand, you have an 80% chance of winning.
Yeah, I think that's a hand that just allows you to run away with the game. I don't know that there's any other deck in the game right now that can get a hand that just sets it up for a win on turn 1, though.
I mean, potentially a blue Piccolo deck that pulls out a dominance
and
then takes a little bit of damage, and then the next combat they can get really set up.
Yeah.
But, I mean, honestly, Piccolo is one of those decks that if you get set up early, it's hard to overcome because he's just not going to let you do anything.
Yeah,
he's just going to take your deck away.
I guess I'll just sit here and get milled while you play the lamest deck ever. I think that speaking of lame, I think there's going to be some Lamechian decks, Piccolo Lamechian.
Yeah, I think Lord Slug Namekian is really lame, but I feel like people who are putting their dice in that basket won't be rewarded because of the aggressive format I think we're going to see today.
Yeah, I think we're going to see... I mean, we might see a really passive format, and if we see a passive format that's light on blue, then...
Orange Ginyu should come to the top.
Orange Ginyu should come to the top.
Black Ginyu can take the top.
Black Ginyu and black and red garlic as well.
Yeah.
Black garlic and red garlic can pull out a most powerful personality victory pretty easily, and they can do it at a really ridiculous pace.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy, the power level of red right now. I mean, so a buddy of ours, Jordan in chat, has a red Frieza deck that he built, and it's, it hasn't been necessarily the most performing deck, but there are games where he shoots from 1 to 4 in 2 combats without even trying, and there's interaction there. We've even knocked him down with Dragon Ball, and it still just comes out. We're going to go ahead and cut to a short break for a little bit, guys. We've got some updates to make on the stream, so we're going to throw the advertisement back up here. We'll be back in about 5 minutes.
right, and we're back. Boom. I don't know what that was, but I did it. You guys saw that part of the experience.
All right, guys, we got some updates for you. It looks like we might be breaking 256 people, and there could be a potential for the structure of the top cut to change. We don't know that. We can't confirm that yet, but that is something that they are talking about currently, just because they want everyone at the event to play.
Yep. So it's gonna be good times. Basically, if we get to 256 people, that does mean that we're gonna have a couple more rounds of Swiss, probably.
Potentially a cut to top 32.
Just a couple, possibly a cut to top 32. Not sure if there's going to be any change as far as the prize structure. They will handle that. As soon as we have an update for you about how that's going to work, we'll let you know. But I'm looking forward to seeing what happens. If we get the more rounds of Swiss, the better, because that's a better litmus test and a better break for what the meta is going to shape up as.
I still think Orange Guinea is going to win. Yeah, Tower, actually, the event is scheduled to start at 10 a.m. That didn't happen, so I think we're going to be pushing it back to close to 11.
Yeah, I think that they're counting deck lists right now. We just got an update that Ake and everybody was getting ready. So everything is good to go on that, and they're going to be giving us an update as far as rounds. We'll be posting standings at the end of each round, discussing the feature match as it goes on. We have a couple different ways. We're going to take you on a quick tour of our setup here. Just going to show you. So we've already got everything set up. We have this shot of us in the play area. As you can see, there's some stuff on that table now.
Look at that foot, though. I mean, really,
yeah, so there's a
decent looking shoe.
I know, right? It's pretty nice.
I think I have that same shoe in blue.
Huh?
I have that same shoe in blue.
Oh yeah. Actually, you do. He has that same shoe in blue. This one right here.
It is.
That little Nike down in the bottom left corner of the play area. This is us again. This is where we're at. Hey-o. And then if you look over here, this is the play area. We'll give you that straight up. That is exactly as it is. As you can see, there's some motion there. So this is where we're at right now. We're going to be keeping you guys posted as the action moves forward. I do want to say, though, thank you guys very much for tuning in. Don't forget to tweet at us at Next Level DBZ. Let us know, what your thoughts are on what to expect in the meta. Also, don't forget to join the conversation via the hashtag NLZ, as well as hashtag GenCon and hashtag Panini.
Absolutely. So one of the things I want to do real quick is people in chat, if you guys could tell us what the top 3 decks you think are going to do well, and we'll just discuss that for a little bit while we get the event started. Right now we're at 209 people, so we've overshot a little by 256, but it's still going. So we'll have a direct count, and when the event will be starting here shortly.
I'm pretty excited about it, though. It's going to be good times.
Should be pretty good. I think this will be one of the tournaments to really look at and understand the meta as it develops, and I feel like this will be the true indication of what decks are at the top and what decks are struggling to make it there.
Yeah, it's gonna. As soon as we have an update on what round 1 is, we'll be able to give you guys a heads up about that. This point, though, we're gonna hop back over real quick to the short little advert, and we will return momentarily. Okay.
All right.
All right.
Hey!
Yeah.
All right, so we have a lot of development for you guys.
A
So
lot of cool stuff.
we're getting the final number on entries right now, but we do have an exciting first round feature match with Dustin Morabito and Anil Damani. So
former world champion versus
right.
Anil Damani.
This should be a crazy match. Panini went ahead and selected the round 1 feature match for us, so we'll get more information on that soon. But this should be an action-packed game.
Oh yeah, we've got there's a lot of big names from the old game in this tournament right now.
Actually, I beat Dustin Morabito at Worlds in 2003, and I also lost to him in the finals of the regional at Wizard World Philly.
So the salt is real.
I actually want him to lose. Just kidding. No bias.
No.
Best of luck to both of them. I know Anil. I do trades with him all the time, as well as most everyone does. And then,
Wonder Emporium.
you know, honestly, I'll be honest. I did not realize Morabito was coming, back to the game. I didn't realize he was playing again. So this is very exciting to see him out here, and maybe he'll be able to claim another tournament. He's definitely a very skilled player. He makes the right lines of play, and I have faith that he will put together a very good.
It's gonna be pretty good. It looks like they're sitting down at the table right now, so we're gonna be cutting over to that in just a moment. But right now, I'm looking forward to this. I'm curious as to what everybody's playing. They weren't able to get us that information, but I guess we'll see in a moment.
Absolutely. So we're gonna go ahead and cut to the player cam while they get set up here.
Let's go ahead and so. As you can see there's Dustin with the blue deck box. He's just moving around, getting everything ready.
Now, Justin's brother is Dustin. I believe he's actually banned from GenCon, so I don't believe this is Dustin Morabito. I believe this is Justin Morabito.
Yeah.
Funny story about him being banned from GenCon, actually, but that's for another time. That was at Focus Worlds, if I believe correctly.
Yeah, actually, I think it was.
Yeah.
But anyway, this is going to be a really exciting match. We're excited to be bringing it to you guys again. We're Next Level Z, and as you can see on the playmats and the overlay, that's where we're at. So right now, we're just shooting a quick message to our contacts over there. As far as the actual matchup, it looks like Dustin is rocking red sleeves on his MP. Is that a Namekian deck?
Looks like a blue knock. I see a blue head knock on the top.
Oh, that is a blue head knock on top. All right. So I don't know why I'm leaning. It doesn't provide me any more of an angle on that.
It's fine. We'll get some more information going on shortly.
Again, if you want to join the conversation, we are chatting actively in Twitch. We have a couple moderators in there. We've got JP, FTW, and Chorted working the Twitch chat at the moment. They're going to be joining us as well in the commentary desk here in a bit. Additionally, we've got myself, Logan Powell, Grindles Bacon, and Patrick Powell, Habits, running the desk at present. So if you guys have any updates, it looks like Dustin is on Blue Ginyu. I'm so excited about this. That's my favorite deck in this game right now.
I do want to confirm, though, it is Justin Morabito.
Oh, that's Justin Morabito?
I believe so. That's what we've been told for the first few pairings, and then I believe our contact there actually said Dustin, which happens to be his brother, which is, maybe it is Dustin, but Justin Morabito, I would assume, is the person who's here.
I don't know. We will see. One of the Morabitos is on there. So...
No, it is Dustin Morabito.
Yeah,
I
Justin
apologize.
Morabito is what we were told. So if it is Justin, we will, of course, correct that. As you can see, there's a GenCon badge right there. He's prepared. This man is using dice to mark his power level and mark his anger. And that is something very close to my heart. I'm pretty excited about it. So right now, we are just getting everything ready. It looks like Anil Damani is working his way over to the play area right now. Dustin is just getting his shuffle on, making sure that he's ready for this. But a Blue Ginyu matchup is going to be interesting. That deck can have just as explosive a start as Orange. It can take a huge chunk off of your deck just because that's what Ginyu does.
Yeah, Blue Ginyu is a very consistent deck. I am very excited to see. Dustin is the winner of the 2002 World Championship. And he made top 8, I believe, in the 2003 World Championship as well. So
I'd actually forgive him for not using dice if instead of dice for a scouter, he used his Ultimate Champion.
Oh, Ultimate Champion. If anybody is not familiar with that card, it was actually errated to Dustin Morabito only.
Because of the leaks.
Yeah, there was a cheat that came out like a Boo Saga, I think, or something.
Yeah.
They were just showing up, a lot of them in Australia. I think one sold on eBay for a few $1,000s.
Yeah, and then it was errated to Dustin Morabito only. Sorry.
That card
There you
was
go.
absolutely crazy. So I remember that he played this card against me. So it's an event card. It says your opponent cannot play Trunks Energy Sphere. For those of you who aren't familiar with that, that's Villainous and Heroic Energy Sphere. It wasn't styled to a specific.
Minus the bonuses there.
Right.
It was just canceling events.
If you declared a Tukoiwaza, which means if you were playing a deck that played a Mastery, essentially like one solid color, choose one of the following card types: non-combat, allied, background, or battleground, location, or sensei. There's a few things that new players won't understand there. For the remainder of the game, your opponent cannot use this card type. So this was a card that he got to use exclusively for winning worlds, and that was a little bit of controversy from the old score games that they rewarded people who won tournaments. So
there was one given out, but interestingly enough,
it does say limit 2 per deck.
it's limit 2 per deck.
That's right. So you can have 2, but only 1 was given out.
So if you got one, you used to be able to, because what would happen is if you had that and then you won the GKI, the Grand Kai Invitational,
You could potentially
you
get
could
a foiled
potentially
copy
get
of your deck,
a
or any
second-
regional.
Yeah, if you won a regional, you could potentially get a second Ultimate Champion. So it was possible to get another one out there. Right now, it looks like Anil has arrived.
Are our
at the
colors
table.
off here?
No, colors are fine. Everything's good. Yeah. So at present, just shuffling up. Oh, just taking a look at everything here. Somebody's bumping into the camera. I think our camera's touching the table, actually.
We will go ahead and get that fixed if it continues to be an issue.
Yeah, I do apologize for that shaking there. By the way, these Next Level Z playmats featured here, you can get those through the website. And if you're at GenCon and not playing but watching the stream, you can actually pick those up at the convention. Our very own Clayton Skinger, who's a member of the Next Level Z staff, one of the founding members, does have those available. And he can assist you with those. I believe they're $25.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And that's the first Next Level Z playmat.
Yeah, they're actually going to be discontinued shortly, and we're moving to a new design.
Yeah, we're going to be doing a series, but this is the inaugural NLZ playmat. So make sure you get your collectibles.